A gull seen more out to sea usually, and will predate other birds. Also the lesser black-backed gull, a lot cleaner looking with bright yellow legs rather than the pink legs here. And we saw those inshore and also out to sea. And then the herring gull, which we usually refer to as a seagull. A lot of these birds have moved more into coastal areas as fishing has depleted the food stocks at sea. And we do think, therefore, there's more of them, but in fact, their numbers are actually declining. And if you watch these birds, they are fantastic flyers, and they're also brilliant survivors as well. There's our smallest gull, the kittiwakes, and I know a lot of you got to see the juvenile ones with this beautiful patterning. They're called kittiwake because that's the call they make when they're on their nest. They go, kittiwake, kittiwake. Or maybe, ha, 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 fish and chips, or whatever else you're thinking at the time. But someone decided they were saying kittiwake, so that's how it got its name. A lot of people would have seen these, relative of the albatross, one of the tube-nosed birds. And if you go near to the nest, when they come onto our cliffs, they're really, really back to the cliffs. I really look forward to seeing these birds in about February in Cornwall. They come and they have a really long nesting period. They can have 2 to 3 chicks. But if you go near to the nest, on the cliff edges, they will spit out of their nostrils a really foul smell and fishy and salty stuff to defend themselves. And that's how we know they have this tube nose on their bill here. They also have very straight, stiff wings that they soar on, and they've been soaring out to sea all morning, even when the hardcore ORCA survey crew came in. The formers were still out there, very much built for life at sea, all these animals. We've had some nice shearwaters. They're often associated with minke whales feeding areas. And here's one here that will soar, and it will turn, and you'll see white and then dark. And they fly very low to sea on a really thick bit of air that's on top of the sea. And they really need that, because if they travel too far over land, they will actually fall to the ground and need to be taken back to the ocean where they have some breeze to get going. And they fly into quite strong winds. And this is why they spend their time out to sea. Their legs here are really, really far back. These are the birds that come in at night to the nest, and that's to avoid getting predated by the bigger gulls, because when they come onto land, they really are walking about like some of us have been doing today in the swell, kind of stumbling and not doing too well. And just before I had to do the presentation, Rachel went and saw a sooty shearwater, so I had to go and find a photo of one of those too. And it's a little bit of a bigger one. It's darker on the back and darker underneath. We also saw some skuas, and we had some great action from these birds because they are tough and they are mean, and they will attack all the other birds I've mentioned probably to get them to regurgitate their food and then eat it. And it's just a way they've decided to survive by robbing other people. And I hope none of you know people like that anyway. But here you go, it's going after a gannet. That gannet is a lot bigger than it, but it will still have a go and try and get it to regurgitate some food, or maybe let go of a fish that it didn't immediately swallow. And we also saw an Arctic skua as well, which was nice. That was when we were leaving our furthest northern point. Lots of auks sat on the surface of the sea. So we had, oops, sorry about that. We had the common guillemot here, very brown and white with a pointy bill. We also had another race of the guillemot here, and also another species of guillemot, the black guillemot, which has this beautiful red inside of its mouth and red legs, and a white patch on the wing. Only in the summer, though. In the winter, they turn white, of course, and you can't recognize them at all. But all these birds, they sit on the sea, and when the boat goes near, they dive under, and that's how you can really tell it's probably one of the auks that you've just seen. And that's because they can swim down to 100 meters. They're pursuit feeders, so they dive down and catch fish really low down. And again, only into our nesting areas on our coasts, just during the summer, and then back to life at sea. And some terns as well. We had some Arctic and some common terns, very delicate looking birds. And they just dip down and take a little snack on top of the water usually. And that's really good because some of them travel a really long way to make the best out of the light and the food sources in the polar regions. So our longest migrant seabird, the Arctic tern, and that's its passage there. And then we had a lot of land birds, and I hope you all got to read all the sightings that were on our notice board by the yacht club. And one of them that a lot of people picked up was this sort of crow here at the top, the hooded crow. We do find those in the